Good evening and welcome to Four Sherlock Holmeses and a Vampire, who is also one of the aforementioned Sherlock Holmeses. I am your host, Stephen Moffat. So it's going to be your classic Sherlock Holmes story. There is not a locked room mystery, but a room. And of course, as with the traditional Sherlock Holmes story, you have four Sherlock Holmeses who are brought together across time and space in order to solve the crime, and incidentally divine which one of them is actually secretly a vampire. All right, so our story begins in August of 2021 in a world almost unrecognizable from our own. On December the 31st, the heads of state of every nation signed what are known as the Midnight Accords, which was basically one big New Year's resolution to never have another fucking year like that again. Capitalism has been dismantled, borders abolished, the world has averted climate change, and incidentally, turns out the cure for coronavirus was actually just whiskey with a little bit of lemon and honey in it.
I discovered that.
There you go. And so, and so it is that the entire UK fusion dance community has gathered in the Highlands of Scotland at Lochern Head to spend a weekend dancing and drinking and celebrating, which of course begins with a great procession from the campfire, into the Scout Hall, where the evening's festivities will begin, or at least they were to begin. But instead, the screams began. Because as people arrived in their finery marching in the door, they discovered a truly horrific scene. But before the camera actually pans to that or anything, we're just going to do from people screaming close up, maybe there's some dripping blood off a hand, and then smash cut to 10 minutes later when there's huddles of people nervously whispering among one another, gathered at the far end of the room. When all of a sudden there is a great magenta swirling vortex that appears in the room and four silhouettes emerge. We're going to go around and introduce your character, and maybe tell us what your character was doing in that exact moment before they were zapped across dimensions. If we can start with you, M.
You're muted.
Oh.
My name is Sherlock Holmes, but you can call me Holmesy. It's what all my friends do. My mom was one of those investment bankers who wanted everything to be about money and thought her stocks were all a sure thing or something like that. Anyways, yes, Sherlock Holmes, and I was having drinks with some of my friends. We were trying to plan a way to raise money for my charity, the Pussy Patrol. We drive around saving stray cats and bring cat love to people who need it in impoverished areas, along with legal aid. It's a great cover for traveling while finding mysteries, and then I can just bring my bestie with me and have cats all the time. So yeah, I was a wine cellar, and now I'm here.
That is...
I appreciate your love of animals.
So was it Tristock? Or
Sherlock.
Sherstock.
It's on their name.
My apologies. Hang on. Can you? So you are gleaned from somewhere in the multiverse of fan fiction, if that's right. If I understand. Okay, yeah. Excellent.
Gender bendy.
So Holmesy, what were you doing in that? What were you in the middle of at that exact moment as you emerged through the portal?
Oh, we were planning and had just finished our second bottle of wine, so I was going to go get the third, which is when the best ideas come along. So I was turning my way to go down to the wine cellar, and I guess I took a wrong turn.
Okay, you just stepped forward. All right, you're glancing around at this shocked crowd staring at you. But they don't stare at you for long, because emerging out of the portal immediately behind you is Malcolm. Do you want to tell us your character?
Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Rubius Sherlock.
So
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
So if I can use my own incredible powers of deduction here, where M is kind of from like where Holmesy is from a kind of like Sherlock teens adventure kind of high school setting. Rubius is literally if Hogwarts had murderers. Wait, I guess Hogwarts does have murderers. That's kind of its whole thing. But
If Hogwarts cared about the murders enough to get someone to solve them.
if Hagrid was actually a detective, right? Okay, and
In this universe, I finished wizarding school and then went on to be a wizarding detective.
you then went on to Wizard Police College. Oh shit, that is a thing too. That's auras. Okay, never mind. All right, but okay, I love this. So Rubius, what were you in the middle of doing before you got zapped across dimensions?
Well, I was trying to deal with this little young delinquent wizard called Harry Potter.
You were just trying to deal with him.
Well, I was down Diagon Alley and we were outside the pub. I'd had my usual 4 pints of mulled mead, and then Harry was clearly high off his tree, and I was trying to make a deal with him as to how we would catch, the recent spate of murders in Wizarding World.
I see. Okay, so you are literally like already tanked. Like this is okay. No, I'm down. Let's see where this is going. But okay, you are already the traditionally heavily medicated Sherlock. Okay, cool.
I think I find both Sherlock so far have been drinking heavily before this.
Yeah, this is a very good point. Okay, I can't wait to see your elementary shit. So next in the order, Liz, you pop through the portal. Do you want to tell us about your Sherlock?
Hello, I'm Sherlock Cumber Downey. I was just settling to listen to a record of my favourite classical music, shut my eyes to enjoy the sounds better, and then have stumbled into whatever hellhole this is.
So, okay, excellent. Just to clarify, if you can paint me a fucking word tapestry, your Sherlock Cumberdowney. Now, is this a contemporary Sherlock or an old-timey Sherlock?
This is contemporary Sherlock with the clothes and some of the social attitudes of old Sherlock.
Oh, I see. This is swaggers for boys Sherlock. Right, okay.
This is
modern
all
went to
forms of
Eton.
masculinity that involve both violence and very intense asexual intelligence, all molded into one joyous thing.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic. And so Cumberdowney, what were you caught in media res doing?
Right?
What were you caught in the middle of doing as you were popped into existence?
Reclining on my leather armchair, listening to music.
Excellent. All right, you immediately crash 2 feet to the floor and take 5 points of damage. Cool. Don't worry, I'll keep track of that. That's fine.
Thank you. I did it again.
All right, and lastly, hobbling through the vortex.
You see Dr. Gregory. I'll hang on. I'll try and do the voice. You see Dr. Gregory House. He seems pretty baffled. His shirt is halfway open. He has kind of a suit jacket on over the top, and seems to have attached a cup holder with a glass of whiskey to his stick, and kind of looks around confused for a second, and kind of sees the people and the bodies and the giant, and then looks up and goes, "God, I think I'm in Scotland."
And with that, the tension of the all eyes on you is broken by an elated scream of victory as you hear, I did it! I did it! They said I was mad, but I did it. Which is when you see a young man, glasses, beard, emerging from the crowd, lurching out, covered in blood. And his name
I did it! They told me I was mad, but I did it! I'm sorry, I'm Tris. Pleased to meet you, I guess. Something terrible's happened. I'm really glad you're here.
You seem very excited about this, Tristan.
Well, a little bit, yes. This is the most interesting care team I've ever been on.
I think House just walks past you towards the bar area and keeps an ear open.
I start looking around at all the people in glitter and immediately try to approach someone in the crowd.
Hello?
I'm going to ask Tristan, hello Tris, fear not, I'm here. What stupid thing have you done now?
Well, no, it wasn't me.
You said you've done it, you've finally done it.
Well, yeah, in which case the stupid thing I've done now is you. The care team...
Aye.
The care team procedure said in case of a murder, I was to read these 6 pages of Latin while walking widdershins around the campfire. And I don't really read Latin, but we had a murder, I think, so I did it, and it was only 4 pages, but you guys turned up. Hold on, yeah.
Can I see this? Can I see this spell?
Yeah, no, here, it's in the, I've got the documents right here.
All right, Tristan passes them to you. You notice that a couple of the pages seem to be kind of gummed together.
I try and pull them apart.
All right, they peel apart quite easily. If he hadn't been a little bit distracted at the time, you're sure he would have caught it.
That's why there were only 4 pages.
Can I sort of read and like surmise what the magic is?
You absolutely can. So the first 4 pages are a very simple incantation in order to summon the greatest minds from across the multiverse in order to do your bidding. Sort of like a demonic thing, but not. The funny thing is the last 2 pages are a completely different spell in order to curse someone with vampirism.
May I ask the crowd if this is normal for events like this?
Well, I'm on the safety team, so we couldn't really talk to the police. So, yes, interdimensional summoning of genius detectives is what we do now.
Well, of course, the police were abolished in September 2021. No, that's in the future, July 2021.
So we're quite near Hogwarts then. It looks like we're quite near Hogwarts.
In a manner of speaking, but you're also very near a super dead body. So maybe priorities. But hey, who am I to tell?
A dead body.
The UK fusion team has never been very far from Hogwarts.
So with that,
who got murdered?
This is
From
an excellent.
murder.
Ooh, you've done this before.
I'm getting in.
All right, so
I want this body.
at this point, Tristan kind of toweling off most of the excess blood, kind of leads you over to the other side of the scout hall where you see the DJ setup, the booth, laptops, cords, all that, you know, You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, there is all of that, but it is somehow even more slick with blood than Tristan. It is remarkable. An obscene amount of blood. Just like more than should actually be inside a body, but it is in fact not inside a body. So make of that what you will. There is, however, a body, and I regret to inform you, it is me. Not me, Stephen Moffat, but me, Rory McKinnon, slumped over the mixing desk. And now at this point, you turn on your Holmes vision collectively and kind of scan the room, which is when we are going to roll dice to determine what you're taking in from the crime scene. So, first in the order is Holmesy. Now, Holmesy, the way this is going to work is I'm going to roll the dice, and then you get to choose between two elements. You get to choose which one you notice in the crime scene. It's kind of quantum detection, I guess. Okay, so first off, all right, the first thing that you notice can be either an overwhelming smell of potpourri or the shrine to a celebrity. Either seems plausible at Highland Fusion Retreat, to be honest.
Oh, I'm definitely going with a shrine to a celebrity.
Okay, can you identify the celebrity?
Yes, I inspect the area more closely and find some cling film in the corner, slowly going in the wall, and I bust it open to find a shrine to Rory Orbison.
I see. Okay, so yes, there is a almost mummified kind of figure propped up in a kind of like sand sarcophagus in the corner. Yes, with little tributes of cling film, vocational cling film. Votive cling films kind of arranged around.
Is that not the drummer of the Weird Sisters?
Okay, hold it together. Okay, cool. So we're going to roll again. Okay, next, Liz. Cumber Downey, as you take in the scene, do you notice more than one katana, or do you notice too many pets?
Too many pets.
That's your answer?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, the building is teeming with pets. I don't know. You tell me if there's like puppies playing in the,
No, it's not
viscera.
puppies. Someone's got hold of a shit ton of llamas, ducks, and otters, and Ever's just like, there's a small woman running around squealing the fuck around a lot of otters. And then outside, there's a large quantity of llamas, and a woman keeps trying to like keep the llamas in, like the outside, but also very close to them. And that's the general thing. And then there's just ducks and a lot of shit everywhere.
Okay. All right. I assume this might, I mean, you tell me, but it sounds like this might actually just be one of their weird fancy dress themes again. Okay. Okay, and the last one. Is Ian. Ian, if you would like to take in the actual crime itself, tell me what you see. Like superficially, what do you see as you approach the body?
I see.
Sorry, Dr. House.
Dr. House. Do we go with patient or victim? Here. Patient or victim, folks?
Victim.
The victim it seems to be a Caucasian male, early 30s, just over 6 foot. Strange, possibly eldritch tattoos along the head and neck. Signs of a recently shaved beard. He has some terrible gash wounds on his chest, and which appear to be from a katana. But inspecting closer, they don't seem to be cut deep enough to have been the cause of death. There are some smashed bottles on the floor, and glancing outside, there appear to be a couple of llamas with some suspicious blood marks around their feet. The lighting is dark, and yeah, there's a lot going on.
I see. All right, no, that's perfect. Okay, so for what it's worth, I am keeping a little yellow legal pad here of the scene details and clues and stuff. So if at any point anyone wants me to like recap the scene, you can venture into your mind palace or whatever.
And I think as one more thing, you see how he's kind of inspecting the body and kind of leans down and starts inspecting some of the wounds and just gets distracted for a second and sniffs the body's neck. It's very smooth. And anyway,
Can you save him?
we've got a murder.
Oh, I
No,
guess not. I
no,
guess.
he's dead. He's
Oh.
incredibly dead. I'm not really a pathologist, but we could.
All right, as Dr. House, as you lean over to inspect the body, lingering somewhat on the luxurious, elegant kind of carotid artery. Anyway,
Just get your neck out for the camera, Rory. Just.
But no, you hear a disembodied voice from within the crowd going, "Hey, one of you is a vampire, right? That's pretty fucked up. We should probably resolve that at some point too." So just to be clear, Dr. House, you are a medical professional. Do you want to give everyone a quick rundown of the symptoms of vampirism?
Hello, assorted hippies and people with strange hair. I am Dr. Gregory House. I have specialized in nephrology and infectious diseases and vampirism. If one of us is a vampire, this is, blood-sucking spawn of Satan. I hope we're not. The things to look out for and report to me personally if you see any of these is a hatred of the smell of garlic. Often being a Transylvanian citizen, allergy to vitamin D, so shies away from sunlight. Went Australian there. Likes bats, fucking love bats. Oven neck fetishists, and of course they're a vampire.
Yeah. Now, obviously,
I don't know what happened.
Obviously, anyone can have an aversion to garlic or things like that. But a
These things
vampire
are
will
totally
typically
normal.
have at least two of those traits.
At least. Often,
that puts you in the high risk category for vampirism. Yeah.
occasionally pointy teeth, although they are retractable when frightened.
Yes. So, just stepping out of character for a moment, you will need to figure out who is the vampire among you. You can make the accusation at any time, and then that vampire, we can cross that bridge when it comes to it. But basically, the end game will be determining who is the vampire and then solving the mystery. But like they kind of work together.
Yes.
It's like an A plot B plot thing. Okay. In the meantime,
Look,
tell me.
Are you all at Holmes here? It's just I'm the backup DJ, and Kitty would want me to get on with that if you're.
You said
you can
Kitty
help us out.
would want you to get on with that. Has another person died?
Well, no, but Rory was DJing, so.
Who is this
Why
Kitty?
was there a backup DJ?
Does this
They
kitty have
sound
a
fun?
It's not our first murder, but I really do need to go and play some more music, if that's okay.
I guess it's okay, but I think I'm gonna go for a walk there with you if you're all right with having some company.
I love company. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just
So-
don't touch the screen. It's touch screen, and people have ruined my set before.
So you approach the DJ booth and and toss my lifeless corpse aside.
As the body is moving, I notice something shiny from behind it that I hadn't quite noticed before. It appeared that upon moving Rory, there had been a bust of the Queen blocked from sight that was quite far from the DJ booth, but away beforehand. I can see it from that angle though, and I'd like to walk up to go inspect it. Tristan, are you a fan of the Queen? Queen? The band Queen?
I'm not a fan of the idea of queens, I guess. I think this one's done a reasonably good job.
You know,
They've done a very
since
good job on the
December
net.
2020.
Yeah, you know what? By 2020, there should be a new one. That's delightful. Do you think, I don't know too much about these queens, my apologies. I'm not actually from this part of the world. Would you mind giving me a little bit more information about this specific queen? I happen to notice that she has two faces.
Yeah, I guess she's your queen too, right? So that's the one on the right is her Canadian face.
That makes sense. It's the one where she's smiling just a little bit more.
That's the one.
You know, I almost missed that because it's right where that fleck of blood is. It's quite strange that there would be a splat like that so far from the rest of the pattern, though.
I guess you're right. I didn't think of that. What do you think it means?
I think that somebody walked past the queen who had blood on them already.
Is there any footprints from the like, you know, of the blood going to other places?
Rory? Or is that a Moth question or a me question? I'm never sure if these guys. But
You tell me. This is in the
Yeah,
style of a
Malcolm.
Stephen Moffat mystery. Who the fuck knows? You just decide at the end what it is.
Yeah, Malcolm, we do not need to ask about the situation. We just get to make shit up. State facts.
You just tell us your
Okay.
incredible powers of deduction.
Well, I'm looking at the ground using my eyes, and I notice that there are some footprints from the body through what looks like the wall right beside the Queen's head, which the footprints do not carry on up the wall. So this makes me think that there is some sort of passageway or door. Now, I think the only sensible option is to pull out my wand and say, "Expulso!" And then it makes quite a large explosion where that patch of wall is.
The forensic approach.
I'm about catching murderers.
All right. The wall explodes, and as the rubble, as the dust clears, and everyone regains their hearing, the dust is kind of settling, but also so too, I think you'll see a small scrap of paper just kind of floating down in front of you. Is that right?
Yes, I grab the paper and have a look, squinting with my
Almost as if it
beetle
was
black
in the
eye.
passage and could have been recovered without an explosion, but who knows? So do
Yes.
tell.
Well, I look at the paper, and it seems to be a collection of drawings of the people who have attended this event.
Are you
Oh,
sure
quite
that's what you
sinister.
see, Sherlock? Are you sure that it's not something else? Perhaps.
That-
On closer inspection.
I'm looking to see where I might have more information about that.
In your mind palace. In your mind palace, you're recalling the concept of words.
Okay, so there's words beneath the drawings.
Mhm. Are you-
Rory, I'm not quite sure if you're meaning that you sent me information somewhere.
Yes, I've
Is,
PM'd you.
is it?
Are you sure it's
Oh,
not
in
the
the chat
top
of
half?
this.
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, I was looking on Facebook.
No
That's
worries. Oh, you're good.
I've taken a guess instead from the PDF.
Are you sure it's not, for instance, a top half of a grocery list?
Yes, it does also
says
seem
Watson,
to be.
interdimensional traveler Watson, who's just phased through the wall.
It's the top half of a Sainsbury's delivery grocery list. Now, why would that be in a secret room? And the top half, it also has a current date. This is not a very old grocery list. I hold it to one of the attendees, and you can pick which one at random, and just sort of in their face and be like, "Who bought this?"
I mean, you tell us.
Oh yeah. So I'm like putting it in front of Katie McAllister's face and just being like, you there, person, tell me, or I will. Oh, what a nice neck you have. But I will carry on.
Okay, it was Zach.
Oh, who is this Zach? And where can we find him?
And what bearing could it possibly have on the murder?
Yes, he is definitely suspect number 2.
Chris will tell you all about it.
Why can't you tell me about it?
Because I'm in the middle of eating grapes.
Well, that's not suspicious at all. Clearly, you are outside of suspicion. Turning round to Tristan. Tristan!
Yep,
I hear that's your name.
that's me.
You've been found at the scene of the crime, covered in blood, DJing music, and now you have to tell me about Zach.
What do you want to know?
Why was he buying all these things? And where is he now?
Are there any items of interest on the shopping list, Sherlock Rubius?
Well, there's garlic for one, starters, which seems very suspicious.
That was for starters. We were having garlic mushrooms.
Ah! Just as Malcolm, eh?
Did someone say garlic mushrooms? Oh, the voice is gone. Did someone say garlic mushrooms?
Yeah, they did. How do you feel about garlic mushrooms? Says a disembodied voice in the crowd.
I would love one. Kitchen,
Yeah. Absolutely.
kitchen. I'll be back.
All right, and as Dr. Gregory House limps his way over to the kitchen, Cumber Downey, have you been investigating the crime scene yourself?
Cumber Downey has been observing the shit show in the corner with the explosion.
Mm-hmm. Have you detected anything?
Was quite close to the explosion, and I'm brushing off the embers and dust off my dapper jacket. And in walking away from that, I've been looking at the decorations, which appear to be made of largely woodland bullshit. Drawings done by blind children. But amongst them, shit on the walls, there is actually something that looks like it might once have been a real picture. Something that was not done by idiots.
Interesting. Now, can you describe that picture for us?
Yep, I can. It is 3 pigs, faded. They're dressed in top hats. They have little monocles on. And they're sipping tea. It looks like the sort of whimsical picture that you'd buy in IKEA. And it's clearly had a lot of kids drawing on it. A lot of people thinking I'm going to add extra icons, and there's graffiti all over it. Like every year, people are just adding elements to the pig so they get more and more elaborately dressed.
I see.
And then
So already the cogs begin to turn in your respective incredible forensic minds. They're kind of, the words are whirling around you of Roy Orbison, cling film, llamas, ducks, otters, slashing chest wounds, and the images of the things we just talked about that I forgot to write down. Shit. The Queen, the bust, the grocery list, garlic, mushrooms, and the three little pigs. What could it mean? No, for real. What could it mean? Does anyone have a theory?
Well, I think we should look for the murder weapon, which is probably a kitchen knife. I think that the katana was misplaced inside
I don't
a
think
chest.
there is a katana in this particular timeline.
Oh dear. I mentioned katana wounds.
There is you described some slashing chest wounds of the sort that could be made by a katana. I don't believe you've recovered a katana from the crime scene as yet. Who knows? Maybe there is one. You can continue the investigation however you like.
I'm going to wander over into the corner, having looked at the pigs, and start lifting up the objects that have been used to prop up. I've got a triangle. I've got, an old acoustic guitar, a variety of maracas, homemade shaking objects, and then at the bottom of all of that, there is a katana in the corner.
I see. How do you announce this find?
I'm going to just start making more noises. Every instrument I pick up, I'm going to trust out and have prodigious skill in each of them. And I'm going to capture the moment of the dance floor and create a whirlwind of dance and art with each of these. And when the dance floor is heaving with the beautiful music that I'm making with the katana, I'm going to suddenly stop playing and announce, this is the murder weapon.
So to be clear, you are solving a murder by waving a bladed weapon on a crowded dance floor.
Uh-huh.
I think
do you feel like you just need an easy win to get you going? Like, if you have one other murder, you can be like, yes, I know how that person died. That'll kind of get the juices flowing.
Oh, no, I don't need to be right. I just am enjoying having the attention.
I think at that moment, House turns around and goes, the katana wasn't the murder weapon. Examining the body, his eyes show distinctive signs of... Rory, are you allergic to anything?
Cats.
Of cat poisoning. Anaphylactic shock. I am guessing these wounds... this man has been dead for hours, and these wounds were made to splash blood and distract the audience. Now, as for who could have murdered him with the cat, clearly there are fucking pets everywhere. And if we look at this shrine...
Is there any cats on the shopping list?
You don't need to ask, Malcolm.
I know, I'm asking the room because someone else is holding it now or something.
That's okay.
I'm sure you can snatch it back.
Okay. Well, this clearly has cat food, cat litter, and cat pellets. I think we need to speak to this Zach.
My God, Rubius, are you suggesting that a cat was the murder weapon?
I think that concentrated cat pellets were the murder weapon. I don't see any cat hair around here.
While everyone is distracted by this show, I walk back to the bus and then take a look at where the body is and notice that the Canadian side of Queen Elizabeth's smile is pointing towards where the body actually was. So I go and look a little bit closer and find some chalk dust, go back to the bust, think pensively to myself and lean against the wall and reveal the other side of a trapdoor right next to where Rubius had exploded the wall.
Another secret passage. I see.
Yeah.
Now the chalk dust, is that any kind of outline or writing or a trail?
It's a bit of a trail that led me to the spot on the wall where I leaned to think. It still goes into the secret passageway. And I take a look, and there's a board on the back that said, "What happened to Kitty?"
Lumos.
So at that point, as obviously the evening is wearing on, and the last dying rays of sunlight, as the sun has traveled obviously across the sky, reach through the uncurtained windows of the scout hall and are kind of gradually shifting from one side of the room to the other. Just a little bit of flavor there.
Hagrid, I'm wearing my thickest overcoat, and I just turn and walk towards the passageway, to discover some clues. So, looking on the ground of the passageway, there appears to be, well, they start out as footprints, and then about halfway along the passage, they turn slowly into animal tracks. I would suggest those of a cat.
A werecat, you're saying?
Well, it could be that, or something, maybe more of an animagus is definitely possible also. I think we're looking for someone with some cat-like tendencies, or possibly a name like a cat, or, something like that.
See. All right. As you return to the group with your findings, you do register anxious murmuring from the rest of the crowd. Obviously, they're not able to leave. They've been gathered here as potential suspects, but you do hear the word vampire muttered ominously, repeatedly, and some sort of furtive, dark glances cast in your directions. Like you detect a certain level of unrest among the group.
There's also something in the safety team document that says I need to go and well, let's just say the situation has become quite high stakes. So
Hey.
I'll
Did someone say stakes?
I'll be around if you need me.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know if you need anything.
I begin to reassure the crowd and would like to ask if anyone has seen this Zach at any point recently, and find out that Zach hasn't been seen since dinner last night. And ask for a description of this Zach.
Who cooked the garlic mushrooms, if not Zach?
And Gregory has very conspicuously, with the anxious crowd, like to eat a garlic mushroom from his pocket. Well, the person who made this clearly wasn't a proficient chef. Like I've heard this Zach is. These mushrooms are way too buttery.
Are you suggesting that someone impersonated Zach in order to infiltrate the event?
Just has an idea and walks over to the shrine to Roy Orbison and starts looking more closely and looks at all these pictures. All of whom, none of whom are of Roy Orbison, just of people who look quite like Roy Orbison. Then picks up a video, a VHS of Frasier.
Which season is it?
With season 7. It's one with the character that looks like Roy Orbison but isn't Roy Orbison in the front. And it goes, This, the Pictum. I'm going to guess he had prosopagnosia. None of these photos are of the shrine victim. As long as someone was disguised as Zack, they would be able to go up and poison. He would trust the chef, even if that chef brought him a cat.
Because he also wouldn't recognize a cat's face either. He just assumed that was, yeah.
I haven't studied the condition.
Can
So
I
what
turn
is
to
the
one of
significance?
I'm turning to one of the other participants. I'm just seeing actually who's in the discussion. So Andrea's there, and several Michaels, and
Can I
Katie.
make a suggestion, Malcolm?
Yep.
I think you see in the room a tall ginger man wearing a top hat and very little else.
And I go up to him sort of quite eye to eye, and I'm just like, evening. There's a lot of strange folk about, yourself included. What and who is Kitty? No, someone has to be me. I can't be me.
This got very meta very quickly. Like, it was already meta to begin with, and now it's ultra meta.
Please,
Yeah.
please be you.
You like to be
I
Malcolm.
mean, so it'd
I
just
think-
be like the character of Malcolm just screams,
Okay,
starts
can we
rolling
name,
around
can we
on the
someone name
floor.
Malcolm? Because I think then I'm going to go, I'm a, that's it. Okay.
Yep, I would definitely do those things.
In a murder
I think
situation.
Painted across the chest of this sort of man who's got hummus smears around his face, and he's dancing around quite a lot. But actually, on his chest it looks like Latin, and I just bring out my wand and I'm just saying "lumos" and onto his chest, and it spells out the Latin for, you know, the domestic cat. So it's like Catena's sauce, domesticus.
Be what?
And
Felix Domesticus?
Yeah, Felix domesticus in arboratorium. And so essentially is saying it's like in some of the trees outside in Latin. So like Hagrid doesn't even say anything. He's off out to the he's off out to look in some of the trees outside for a cat person or a cat or a person with a cat name.
Okay. So at this point, I have watched the interaction between the dancing hummus ginger woman and Hagrid. Watch Hagrid leave and thought, clearly these attendees have know more than they think. And I look through the window, and at the other room, there's a hysterical group of people avidly playing board games, some of whom were in various states of undress and giggling profusely at each point at which they slap down some cards and someone shouts the word "double," at which point everyone giggles a lot. And all sorts of behavior is going on. So I go in to join that crowd and look through the games they're playing, which seem to largely be based on nonsense. But in the corner, there is an intense-looking pair playing a different game, which is covered on the edges with red twine, and in the middle has a cross on it in red twine. And I ask them what this game is, as they seem to be the only two members of the party cogent and paying attention, and they say it is the conspiracy. And I ask what on earth the conspiracy is. And then they look at me to say, "We don't know, you have to keep playing. Come and join the game." And I sit and join in the game, and I'm going to start playing the conspiracy.
Wait, this is turning into like Inception. What do you... Okay, so you've abandoned the central mystery in order to pursue a different mystery for funsies. Okay, no, that's cool. I love it. All right. However, we've reached a tipping point in the evening. It's now dark. The last rays of sunlight have gone, and the four of you, as you return to the crime scene to consider your findings, are surrounded by, not to put too fine a point on it, a mob of half-dressed but very angry and potentially lethal dancers. The gist that you get from their yells and cries is that, one, this whole murder thing is really like killing the vibe. Two, they don't want to get any more murders because that would, again, kill the vibe. Three, there's a high correlation between vampires at large and vibe-killing murders. They demand to know who among you is the vampire. It's time. J'accuse.
Not time yet, though. I haven't dropped my thing yet.
Oh?
No, it's not. I still haven't dropped my pin. I totally forgot about it. So, about.
Well, I mean, no one investigated. That's. I guess that's. Perhaps you're the world's greatest detective then.
No, that's very good.
Are we starting to accuse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, House over here has very conspicuously been eating the old garlic mushrooms, but I note that he hasn't offered them around to anyone else. Check if they really are garlicky.
He has. They are quite buttery.
Are you suggesting they're just little lumps of marzipan?
I am. For who, if it was not a garlic mushroom, would not immediately upon having a source of them, would not share those out as a test for vampirism, rather than putting them in their pocket and saying out loud how buttery they were?
The crowd gasps at this brilliant logic. Dr. House, do you care to respond?
I appreciate the deductive decision making, but this is quite easily explained. Are any people injured or in serious pain here? And some goes, I'm hurt a bit, and they are mine. Fuck off. Picks up, eats another garlic mushroom from the pocket and says, These are garlic. Watch. I throws one at Hagrid and sees how he responds to a garlic mushroom being thrown in his face.
Protego!
How do you respond?
I just, I suspect attack at all times, so I say Protego, and the mushroom slaps and sort of slowly goes.
I see. Now, Dr. House, was this a formal accusation of vampirism?
This is a man who avoided sunlight. If you can see the bits of skin that are visible beneath the beard, is pure white. He speaks with a strange accent I can't really identify, possibly Transylvanian.
I'm from Dorset.
All eyes.
Protected himself against the garlic mushroom, and of course, it's not me.
All eyes turn to Rubius and his full, luscious, dense, opaque, big, bushy beard.
And as the last thing, House just pulls down his shirt and shows his lovely neck to Hagrid. Rubius, sorry.
Rubius, how do you respond?
That is a fine neck. I mean, why are you opening your shirt?
It's been open all evening. This is just me moving it aside. You see a couple of bruises below the collar line.
Oh my God!
I would like to.
The crowd closes in. Rubius, are you a vampire? You have to tell us if you're a vampire. That's the law. Legally, you have to.
It's a known fact about vampires.
Well, all right, I'm a vampire. I just like eating people, but I don't do it on the job.
The crowd recoils in horror. They ready their pitchforks that they actually had on them the whole time as well, and their wooden stakes, and they appear to be ready to just go right to town on your undead ass.
I know who the murderer is.
They pause, shocked. Then tell us. Tell us, piece together this fucking mind palace of a Roy Orbison. I'll just go through it real quick. A shrine to acclaimed singer-songwriter Roy Orbison. A room full of llamas, ducks, and otters. The victim does appear to have superficial, shallow, slashing chest wounds. But the more important clues that you have discovered is a bust of the Queen, a shredded grocery list, a faded picture of 3 little pigs, a trail of chalk dust, a VHS copy of season 7 of Frasier, and a cork board covered in red twine alluding to some sort of conspiracy. So tell us, vampire, how does it all come together?
Well, feel free to add in any additional points of interest, but I think I have this wrapped up. Now, Rory, can you copy and paste that list of things?
I would. I'm super dead, but I'm sure interdimensional traveler Watson can do that.
Thank you, Dr. Watson.
Just feel free to vamp in the meantime.
Right, I'm just having a good old sniff of this blood around the place, which I think actually is one of the deepest clues that I have in front of me as well. Now, I smell blood rich in many of the vitamins commonly found in mushrooms. Very rich in mushroom vitamins. And that made me to suspect that the poisoning action had happened inside the mushrooms with a slow-acting cat allergen. That was also based on the shopping list that had been exploded out of the first secret passage. That led me to believe the person who had procured the supplies had led a conspiracy, possibly with the co-organizer of the event, one namely Kitty Hellride. From my long watchings of Frasier season 7, I could see that this Zach was clearly a fan, because in episode 4, they visit a shop in which there is a bust of the Queen, and a man is attacked with shallow slashing chest wounds with a kitchen knife and a katana, possibly.
There is awed whispering and murmuring among the crowd of, "Oh shit, no, that totally checks out. Oh my god. Oh, that, yeah, not that, in that vein. And they seem to be acquiescing. All eyes turn to Kitty, who is there, standing. What do you do, Sherlocks? How do you apprehend the killer? They turn and make to bolt away through the kitchen.
At this point, I'm going to rip off my dinner jacket and undo my tie so as to indicate it is fighting Sherlock time.
You do it in a very cool way.
Yes.
Gusto.
It looks great.
I'm not one for a chase. If you could direct them back around.
Yep.
Great.
While they're looting, would you mind if I start this off?
Start getting ready for some fisticuffs.
Go for it.
Absolutely. Kitty has parkoured their way out through the back of the kitchen and is dashing across the train platform.
I shout towards Kitty, hey, do you want to smoke some weed?
They
And they
skid
pop-
to a halt, pure muscle memory taking over at this point. You have a fraction of a second before their conscious mind catches up with that sweet, sweet ganj hunger.
In that moment, I pull off my robe and I wrap it up and throw it like a lasso to apprehend Kitty and go, never fuck with the Pussy Patrol.
And see, so smash cut from there to the rest later on in the evening. The blood has been mopped away. You are all cordially invited to take part in the festivities. You're dancing, you're drinking, you're regaling awed listeners with your greatest exploits. A wonderful time is had by all. Yes, Dr. House, what are you doing?
Gregory House is removed by the safety team fairly on in the evening for not really understanding or appreciating the nuances of consent and dancing.
Oh no! I just assumed Dr. House was going to be like playing blues guitar or something, but...
Oh, yeah, he's invited in when they realize he can play guitar, but has to stay away from everyone because he's a creepy bastard.
Oh god.
I also kind of, Rubius is sort of drinking more mulled mead and just chatting to some of the participants and says, isn't it funny how we never caught that guy Zach, but at least we got the killer, or co-killer, of Kitty.
Yeah, that definitely, I'm sure that loose end will never get tied, will get tied up appropriately.
Yeah, so I'm sitting outside with the killer Kitty, who at this point is now acting like a cat. And I'm just treating Kitty like a bit of a stray. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? What got you to this point? And we have a sweet heart-to-heart. We smoke some weed. Kitty starts to calm down and is like, oh man, some fucked up shit's been happening. I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty sure Zach is in that forest over there. So I shout to the other Sherlocks and I'm like, hey guys, I was just told to go over there by the killer because that's where Zach is.
And they have a real cathartic breakthrough, and there's a sense of like reconciliation and stuff, and yeah, cool. All right, you all decide it's pretty late in the evening. You can always go looking for Zach in the morning. He won't get far. So after a long night of dancing and drinking, you return to your cabins, and you wake up bright-eyed and bushy appendaged the next morning.
Dear.
And gather in the scout hall again for breakfast. But just as you're sitting down to tuck into your hang on, let me just French toast.
We've lost a Sherlock.
Yeah. Okay, just as you're tucking down into your French toast, you are ushered away. There's like a beckoning motion from the sole remaining organizer of the event, who is not either dead or in custody, whose name is, because Zach's kind of on the run, isn't he? No, you know what? Okay, no, it is Zach. You see Zach looking in from the organizer's office, kind of beckoning you. What do you do?
I'm going in.
All right. Okay.
House stands up from the place he was sent away to, not allowed to talk to anyone. And
okay.
As he's walking, like we see his thumb pop off the tip of the handle of his walking stick to reveal a pointy silver tip that he kind of hides in his hand just in case. Walks forward.
So Zach ushers you in hurriedly and closes the door and turns to you and explains, now listen, I know this looks bad. I might have been experimenting with some cat hair based recipes. I completely forgot about the allergy thing. I know it doesn't look great, but here's the thing. I was looking over the clues from the crime scene last night, just tidying everything away, obviously to get things back in order for the actual like dancing. And I was putting the VHS copy of Frasier back on the bookshelf, and there was already a copy of season 7 in there. No one buys or owns 2 copies of the same season of Frasier.
Was it DVD or VHS?
It was VHS, right? Anyway, we have like a TV with like a VCR stand thing, and so I'll put it on. Hang on. I don't know if this means anything to you.
House knows a trap and does not look directly at the television. He doesn't want to see no ring girl.
So, all right. So he there we go. So he slams the cassette into the VCR, and after a bit of fiddling around, he does get it playing, and it's scratchy and grainy, but there is no mistaking what you see and hear.
Hello, Sherlock, 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 and of course Sherlock. My little parlour game. Well done. But I'm afraid your victory may be short-lived. While you were busy here poking and prodding, we kidnapped the entire city of London. You have 1 hour to find them, and the antidote for the neurotoxins now coursing through your veins. That's right, we poisoned the air supply in each of your rooms. Not so clever now, are we? The game is afoot. I, and the 3 other Moriartys, send our regard.
Will our heroes rescue Europe's
Hello,
third largest urban
Sherlock?
center by population in time? Will their brilliant minds survive the degenerative effects of the neurotoxin? Is one of the aforementioned Moriartys secretly a werewolf? Find out next time on 4 Sherlock Holmeses and a vampire who is also one of the aforementioned Sherlock Holmeses. And scene.
That finish was incredible.
Rory, you hadn't planned for us to make Kitty the villain.
I had a fleeting suspicion.
Not that we're predictable at all.
Anyway, that concludes tonight's installment of Sherlock Holmes and a Vampire. Do you want to say goodnight to the catch-up crew?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you and apologies,
Good night, catch-up crew.
Good night, catch-up crew. Lots of love.
Good night, catch-up crew.
Good night, catch-up crew.
Good night, catch-up crew.